Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with Elf by Randall. So this continues our December theme, which has been very nice. Today we have one of Santa's elves. All right. So if you know these rules, then you can just go ahead and check the link and solve it. The rules are normal Sudoku, whispers, entropic lines, and odd digits. But if you don't know them, I'm going to go over them right now. So we do have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules, meaning in every row, every column, and every 2x3 box, we are placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. This thick green line in the grid, it's actually a loop here and then a separate line here, but any green lines, adjacent digits on the line have to have a difference of at least 3. So if this was, for example, a 2, this needs to be at least 3 different from 2. So we can't put a 1, 2, 3, or 4 because those would be 2 or less if you subtract them. And so this could only be 5 or 6. All right, and that's true of any 2 adjacent digits along the line. We also have entropic lines. That's these sort of peachy, thinner lines. Any a group of 3 adjacent digits along the line, like this group and then this group. So it's doing all the overlapping groups. But if you take any 3 adjacent digits along the line, one of them will be low from 1 or 2. One of them will be medium from 3 or 4, and one will be high from 5 or 6. So if this was, say, a 2, that uses up the 1, 2 group. And then if this was a 5, that uses up the 5, 6 group. So now this has to be a 3 or 4, so that this group of 3 ends up having one of each. But also keep in mind that this group of 3 and this group of 3 and this group of 3 also need that exact same property. Right, that's entropic lines. And then also these 2 circles are odd digits. So we need to put an odd digit into those cells, 1, 3, or 5. All right, and that's it. Those are the rules. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. All right. German whispers always make me want to color. Entropic makes me want to color. It makes me want to color them differently. I think there's more German whispery things going on than entropy, so I'm going to do German whisper coloring. Now, what am I coloring? Well, let's talk about German whispers for a second. The difference of 3 is exactly tuned such that if this cell here was a 1, 2, or 3, we're going to call that German whisper low, which is different than entropic low. But the lower half, right, 1, 2, 3, notice we cannot subtract 3 from any of these digits. So in order to have a difference of 3, we have to add 3 or more to these digits. And so we end up in the 4, 5, 6 range because 1 plus 3 is 4. So notice there's no overlap here. This is from 1, 2, 3. This is from 4, 5, 6. And so then this cell here, we can't add 3 to 4, 5, or 6. We're going to have to subtract 3 or more, putting us in the 1, 2, 3 range back there. And so they alternate. So I don't know which is low and which is high, but I do know that we're alternating. So I'm going to use green and purple to represent that. I don't know whether green is low or purple is low and the other being high, but I know that they're different. Now there's going to be 3 lows and 3 highs in every row, column, and box. Excuse me. Every row, column, and box. We also have entropy, and the way I would color entropy is let's talk about entropic lines real quick. So the important property for coloring entropic lines is that because this group of 3 has 1 of each, notice what happens when I do this group of 3. I remove this cell and I add this cell, which means these 2 stay the same. So whatever these 2 are, this was different than it, and this has to be the same different, right? So if this was low and medium, that means this one's high and this one's high. So you end up cycling. So you would go say low, medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, high. But we don't know that it does that sequence. It could go high, medium, low, or it could go high, low, medium, right? We don't know what it does, but we know it's every group of 3. So you could color the entropic low, mediums, and highs. So, for example, I could go red, yellow, blue, red, yellow, blue. Oop, I went down the wrong line. Whoops. Red, yellow. This would be, yellow, blue, red. And so from the entropic line, we have 2 reds, 2 yellows, and 2 blues in every row, column, and box. So notice this row and box already has 2 reds. So we can't put any more reds in this box, and also can't put more reds in this row. This is really interesting because it doesn't really help us. Like, we just have this singular 1 here. I mean, I could put 1, 3, 5 in there just to show that those are odd. Is there any, I don't like having these 2 different color sets here. I'm trying to figure out which one's the most useful, if any. So I don't think the entropy is going to be useful yet. So to get rid of the red, yellow, and blue colorings, I'm just going to highlight every cell and double tap red, double tap yellow, and double tap blue. A little trick for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about another property of German whisper lines, which is the 3 and the 4 are quite restricted. Because if you think about 3, like if this was a 3, what can be next to a 3? Only a 6. So 3 is a digit that only has one digit that it can be next to. So these would both end up 6. The 4 is the other digit, like that. These would both end up 1. So there could be cells such that it would be impossible to put a 3 or a 4 into. So for example, none of these cells can be 1s. If they can't be 1s, right? If I start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they can't be 1s. These are the same. These also can't be 1s. So let's do that. We can't put a 4 into any of these because 4s have to be next to 1s. And so like if this was 4, this would have to be 1, but it can't be. So none of these are 4. And we're down to 2, 3, 5, 6. The 3 would have to go with 6. But the problem is like we don't have any like it's viable in any cell to put a 3. So what do we do with this info? This is interesting. There's probably something I'm missing. We knew both of these were red. Do I need to do entropic coloring or do I need to do German whisper coloring? Is always the question when you have both. It's purple. Okay, what do we know about 2, 3, 5, 6 then? What's helpful here? I'm looking at this smile here. The German whisper line. This can't be 1. So this is also from. Well, this could be 1. So this is from. We can extend one more out and say these also can't be 4. So I mean they're every digit except 4. So I'm wondering about like 4s, right? Where we're restricting 4s to. Like, so if this was medium, it would be a 3. Doesn't really help me. Okay, maybe it has to do with the fact that we know this goes low, high, or it's either goes low, high, low, or high, low, high. But it's also on an entropic line. So we need 3 groups represented. So, yeah, this can't be medium, I guess is the conclusion. Because one of these will be low, definitely low, and one of these will be definitely high. And then one will be the medium, and the medium will match the low or the high. In terms, it's hard to use low, medium, high for entropic low, medium, high, and then German whisper low, medium, high. Am I making sense though? So, like, let's just do an example. Let's say these were both low and this was high. And if we look at how we could do this, we know that one of these will be 1, 2, and the other one will be 3, which will be the medium. Right? Because this cannot be this. If this was the medium, then we wouldn't be able to use a high anywhere. I mean, one of these has to be high. So the conclusion, and it's the same here. If they were opposite, these were 4, 5, 6. We don't lose generality by picking a low or high here, because now these 4, 5, 6s, one of them will be the 5, 6, which will be high, and then one of them will be the 4, which uses up the medium. So this one wouldn't be able to be medium. So the conclusion here is one of these two is medium. So this one is not medium, which means it's only 1, 2, 5, 6. Cannot be 3, 4. One of these is 3, 4. One of these is 3, 4. And then the other one is definitely low or definitely high. Is a 1, 2, 5, 6. I don't have a good way to mark that. But it means the non-medium, like remember it's cyclical, right? So the non-medium, that means this one's also non-medium. So this is 1, 2, 5, 6. And then this one also is non-medium. It's 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay, so that's kind of what we learned from that coloring. Is there more like that? So that means the rest of these cells are definitely low or definitely high. Do I know more about that? So the problem is we don't know which one of these is medium. That's the main issue. Okay. That was all very interesting, but I don't know what it got me. It restricted 4 out of more cells. Again, we know this one's not 4. So if this was the medium, it has to be 3, which would force both of these to be 6, which seems reasonable. That seems to work. And if this was medium, it could be 3 or 4. Yeah. Is there anything else? Wait. Okay. This seems key here. Look at this. These are both the same entropy. Yeah, these are both the same entropy because of the entropic line, right? The cyclical nature. These 3 have 1 of each. We remove this one, add this one. They still have 1 of each. And so what were removed and then added are the same, right? So in order for this to be low and this to be high, German whisper wise, and for these to be the same entropy, this has to be the medium. This has to be the 3-4 entropy. And we know that this cannot be 4 because this can't be 1. So this is our 3, this is our 4. And what we've done now is we've proven that green is low. We can finally mark the 1 as well as low. And then purple is high. So I like to use blue for low and orange for high. Just sort of is natural to me. You can use whatever you like. So now we know that the highs cannot be our low digits, so they're not 2 or 3. And then our lows cannot be the high digits, so they're not 5, 6. Okay. Progress. That was an interesting break-in for sure. So we know this is low, right? This is high. We know this is low, and it has to be the 1, 2 low. So we're going to go, this is also 5, 6. This is high. I'm coloring German whisper high low, but we're also talking about entropic. It's very confusing. So this, we have the 5, 6 and the 1, 2. This has to be from 3, 4. So it's our 3, which is low. And then this digit here, we have the 3 and the 5, 6. This has to be from 1, 2. And then this has to be from 5, 6. So that's high, that's low. We have all 3 highs here. So this is low. These are high. This is low. We can put a 1, 2 here, 1, 2 here. This 1 tells us that's 2 and that's 1. Gives us the 3 here. 3 has to be surrounded by 6s. Very nice. This is high because of the column. So these are a 4, 5 pair. This 6 looks up as well. So that places the 6 here. This is a 4, 5. So yeah, we have all our 6s there. Okay, so what's next? Oh, this 4 has to be surrounded by 1s on the German whisper line. It gives us the 2 here. Oh, we get our 5 and our 3. That's nice. That's 4 and 5. That's 4. All right, we are making very good progress now. 3 is low. 5 is high. So we have all our highs here. These are both low. And then again, we have 3 highs. Those 3 highs. All 3 lows here. This is in fact a 2. And we get our high, which has to be a 4. This being low makes this high. Yeah, this high also made that low. Anyway, so we have the smile here. And so we end up completely... That's interesting. 3 highs and 3 lows next to each other. Oop, what happened here? This should be blue. we end up just 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6 kind of roped in all of the bands. That's interesting. So that's 2, that's 4. This is a 5, 6 pair. This is a 5. We get our 2 and our 1. That gives us the 3 here. 3 is next to 6. This is the 5 and 6 and 5 and 6. We get our 1 and our 3 down here. We get our 4 and our 5 and 2, and we're done. Wow, okay, ended up striped. That's fun. Neat puzzle, Randall. It took me a bit to see, but it was neat that these two ended up being opposite German Whisper high-low, but the same entropic group. And so the only way that was going to work is for this to be a 3-4. And once we figured that out, the rest just sort of fell together. The only other really deduction we had to do was that this couldn't be 4 because this couldn't be 1. And that we could have seen that after having seen this. So I think the first step is to notice this. And then eventually you'll notice, well, probably the next step, you'll notice that this can't actually be a 4 because it would be next to a 1. Cool. Well, I floundered around a bit at the beginning, but hopefully it was interesting. I hope you enjoyed the puzzle, and if you did, then why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.